We've got banks too big to fail, politics making for strange bedfellows, tech turning our world upside down, the science needing to rethink its studies, and the Hollywood late night goes silent. All on This Week Down the Rabbit Hole. Hello, and welcome, my fellow internet wanderers, to This Week Down the Rabbit Hole, Volume 25. I'm your host, DT Critic, and I'm here to guide you through the rabbit hole of internet weirdness, so fasten your seatbelts and hold on tight. Now, before we begin, I should warn you that the content we're about to discuss may be hazardous to your mental health. Side effects may include uncontrollable laughter, temporary insanity, and an insatiable craving for cat videos. So if you're easily offended or allergic to humor, you might want to switch to a different channel right now. But fear not, my friends, we're here to explore the bizarre and the hilarious, and to find joy in the unexpected corners of the internet. And for those brave souls who are still with me, let's jump into the first topic of the day and see what Google's algorithm has cooked up for us this time. Story number 1, Banks Setting Up Disaster Part 2. So, First Republic Bank out of San Francisco has officially gone belly up. I guess we should just add it to the long list of 564 bank failures since 2001. I mean, that's practically a rite of passage for any respectable bank, right? And Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan Chase, says that the banking crisis is over. Well, what a relief. I was starting to think that the banking industry had a little too much excitement for my taste. But wait a minute. Hold on just 1 second. Did you say JP Morgan Chase is taking over First Republic Bank? Now that's rich. The biggest of the too big to fail banks is gobbling up another failed bank, all while claiming the crisis is over. That's like a chef saying he's full after devouring an entire pizza. It's just not believable. And to make matters worse, JP Morgan Chase is set to control over 10% of all deposits after this acquisition. I mean, I'm no math genius, but isn't that illegal under Dodd-Frank? Apparently being too big to fail comes with some pretty nice perks. Oh, and let's not forget about Gavin Newsom. He thinks the two bank collapses in California this year is just a sign of a healthy economy. So healthy that he's eyeing a presidential run. I mean, what better way to show the world you're ready for the big stage than by presiding over the collapse of not one, but two banks in your state in just 1 year. Talk about setting the bar high. So let's just recap. We got a bank that failed, a bank that's too big to fail taking it over, a banking crisis that's over, and a presidential hopeful who's championing the collapse of banks as a sign of a healthy economy. Wow, I feel so much better about the state of our financial system now. Maybe Jamie Dimon and Gavin Newsom can start a comedy duo. They've already got the material down pat. Story number 2. Gates and AOC make strange bedfellows. Hold on to your hats and glasses, folks, because the world as we know it is about to end. The shocking news of two lawmakers from opposite sides of the aisle working together to introduce the Restoring Faith in Government Act has thrown everything into chaos. Who could have ever predicted that hell would freeze over and pigs would sprout wings? Yet here we are with Matt Gaetz and AOC collaborating on a bipartisan bill. This is madness. What's next? Cats and dogs living together? But wait, there's more. The bill aims to put an end to the practice of members of Congress trading stocks, which has eroded the public's trust in government. Could this be the end of the world as we know it? Members of Congress might actually have to start prioritizing investing in our country instead of their own personal gain. It's the end of an era, folks. And don't even get us started on the recent reports of lawmakers selling their shares in First Republic Bank just weeks before it collapsed. It's as if these lawmakers have been living in a parallel universe with access to classified information and using it to make profitable stock trades. But thanks to Gates and AOC's collaboration, there's hope for a brighter future. We may have thought 2020 was the year of unprecedented events, but it looks like 2023 just might outdo it. Get ready for the ride of your life, folks, because with Gates and AOC working together, who knows what could happen next? We fully expect to wake up tomorrow greeted by flying pigs and donkeys while we sip our morning coffee reading about monkeys writing the next hit play. As we look outside our desert window to see snow falling and fish chasing a squirrel up a tree. Check me in for the padded suit tomorrow. Story number 3. Better living through computer screens. Oh, Mental Health Week, how thoughtful. A time for us to reflect on our collective well-being, and by collective, they mean the well-being of our digital selves. Because, let's be real, our real selves, we're a hot mess. We're exhausted, impatient, and resentful of the stressors in our lives. But who cares about that when we can talk about our tech-triggered psychological distress caused by the ultimate evil, pop-ups and prompts, digital clutter, and cyber insecurity. Yes, my fellow tech-addicted humans, those pesky pop-ups and prompts are designed to interrupt us and draw our attention with notifications, updates, and ads. Who needs peace and quiet when you can have an adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol rush every 5 minutes? It's like a fun little game of whack-a-mole, except you're the mole and the tech companies are whacking you. And don't even get me started on digital clutter. The never-ending emails, cluttered folders, and unfinished tech tasks are all conspiring us to make us feel like failures. It's like the digital world is playing a game of Jenga with our self-esteem, one misplaced email at a time. And let's not forget the infinite scroll feature on social media apps. Who needs dopamine when you can have a cortisol and boredom? It's a biophysical experience, baby. But wait, there's more. Cyber insecurity is the cherry on top of our tech-triggered misery. We're constantly wondering if our credit card information is safe. But let's face it, we'll just click allow all on cookie notifications to feel better. And who needs sleep when you can have existential anxiety and depression induced by terror management theory? So let's all raise a glass to Mental Health Week and our tech-triggered psychological distress. Cheers to feeling lost, failing, and afraid in a world where we're constantly upgrading and feeling stupid. It's no wonder we're all a little crazy. Story number 4. Groundbreaking, life-altering, earth-shattering sleep study. So it seems the scientific community has made a groundbreaking discovery. Noise causes sleep deprivation. Who would have thought? I mean, it's not like anyone has ever woken up in the middle of the night because of a car alarm going off or a neighbor's dog barking incessantly. Nope, we all just love the sound of honking horns and construction noise, lulling us to sleep. But thank goodness for this study from the Green Heart Project, which has shown that air quality, noise, and temperature all contribute to decreased sleep efficiency. Finally, we can put to rest the age-old question of why we can't sleep with a jackhammer outside our window. It's the noise, folks! Who knew? However, some skeptics have pointed out that this discovery is hardly news to anyone who's ever spent a night in a college dorm or shared an apartment with a snoring roommate. In fact, it raises the question of what other groundbreaking revelations we can expect from the scientific community. Will they discover that water is wet? That the sun is hot? Or perhaps that gravity causes objects to fall? I can't wait for the next groundbreaking study that shows that being on fire causes burns, or that eating too much causes weight gain. Keep those discoveries coming, science! And while we wait for science to uncover more of the world's most obvious truths, let's take comfort in the fact that we can now blame our lack of sleep on something than our own bad habits. So the next time you find yourself tossing and turning all night, just remember it's not you, it's the noise. And if all else fails, invest in a good pair of earplugs. Trust us, they work wonders. Story number 5. Writer's strike leaves Hollywood speechless. I'm sure you know by now, the writers in Hollywood are going on strike. More than 11,000 members of the Writers Guild of America, WGA, are set to go on strike, which means we are facing a world without our favorite late-night talk shows. That's right, if the Golden Late Night hopes to do anything other than reruns, Jimmy Kimmel, James Corden, and Seth Meyers might have to come up with a few of their own jokes. Oh, the horror. Now, I know what you're thinking. But Seth Meyers used to be a writer for SNL, so he should be able to write his own jokes. Well, maybe he's forgotten how, or maybe he's just too used to having someone else do the heavy lifting. And Kimmel, well, let's just say that his monologues are about to get a lot more dad joke heavy. Either way, we could be in for a rough ride. And don't forget the daytime TV melodramas. Who will write those over-the-top plot twists and tear-jerking monologues? Will the characters just stare blankly at each other for hours on end, lost without their scripted dialogue? It's like a bad improv show, but without the fun. But fear not, my friends. The writer's strike won't affect most TV programming. The season finales of most shows have already been filmed, so we won't have to go without our favorite dramas and comedies. But for Meyers, Corden, and Kimmel, it's going to be a rough few weeks. Just have to hope that they can remember how to be funny all by themselves. Meyer might have to work again. The horror. Mr. Corden's advisors better tell him that 27 straight episodes of car karaoke won't keep your ratings afloat. And Jimmy, while you may be tempted to go back to doing a version of The Man Show, we have one recommendation. Just say no. As for us, the television audience, we could go back and rewatch the final season of Game of Thrones, but I'm not sure which version of Chinese water torture would be worse. Late Night Without Writers or Game of Thrones 8. Here's to hoping the world never has to know. Well, that's a wrap on another edition of This Week Down the Rabbit Hole, and what a week it's been. With banks that fail taken over by banks too big to care, and the preening governor who loves them, Matt Gaetz and AOC joining forces to write the Respect in Government Act, which is like a lion and a zebra working together writing the Respect in the Savannah Act, tech driving us insane, science confirming the obvious, and late night comics actually having to write their own jokes, the world has gone mad and we are just in here for the joyride. This is DT Critic signing off saying, Gavin Newsom might want to tone down the volume on its state's bona fides, as a bank failure or 20 might end up giving us all sleepless nights.